Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your body, your mind, and your spirit. Let's just take a few moments to become present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position where you can sit and have your spine and back of your neck be nice and long, straight, opening up your chest, opening up your diaphragm, and opening up your heart. Gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes, soften your shoulders, and soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. For this morning's intention, I'd like to talk about celebrations. I want to wish all of you out there happy Father's Day tomorrow. And on Monday, we're going to celebrate Juneteenth. And on Wednesday, we have two celebrations. One is solstice, and the other, International Day of Yoga. So the International Day of Yoga is what we're going to focus on today. And the history on that is on September 27th, 2014, the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, addressed the United Nations General Assembly and proposed an International Day of Yoga. He said, "Yoga is an invaluable gift of India's ancient tradition. It embodies unity of mind and body, thought and action, restraint and fulfillment, harmony between man and nature, and a holistic approach to health and well-being. It's not about exercise, but to discover the sense of oneness with yourself, the world, and nature. By changing our lifestyle and creating consciousness, it can help in well-being. Let us work towards adopting an International Day of Yoga." So 177 nations co-sponsored the resolution, which at that time and might still be a record number. And in December of that year, the resolution was adopted without a vote. It was unanimous. The solstice, June 21st, was designated as the International Day of Yoga. And the first one was held 6 months later on June 21st, 2015 in New Delhi, India. And it hosted the largest yoga class in history. There was 35,985 students represented by 84 nationalities. Women, men, children, and the Prime Minister were led through 21 poses. So we're going to reenact that class today in celebration. So I am going to go right to the mat. And just as because it's a little different order than what we normally do, but it actually follows the 8 limbs of yoga. So the first one being niyamas, second niyamas, the third one asanas, which is what we're going to do next. And then there's going to be the 4th limb, pranayama. There's going to be 3 breathing techniques we're going to do. And then we kind of skip to the 7th limb, which is meditation. And I have a guided meditation for you today. But that's the order they did it in, and that's probably the correct order. So we're actually going to start today standing up. So if you kindly rise up on your mat. And we'll start in mountain pose. And we'll do, I have a few adaptations that we're used to from that class that was held in 2015. So if you bring your feet together about 2 inches apart, and come into mountain pose, we're going to lift our toes up off the mat and spread our toes as wide apart as we possibly can. And then bring the toes down on the mat and lift our heels up off the mat. And then bring our heels back down onto the mat. Really feel that connection with the earth, the world. Our legs are nice and straight and strong. There's a gentle bend in our knees. Our navel's tucked to our spine to create a nice long back. Spine in the back of the neck, sitting nice and straight and elongated. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. The chin is slightly tucked toward your chest, creating a nice flat crown of your head. And the crown reaches up to the sky. So in mountain pose, we're going to start our first asana. We're going to bring our arms up to shoulder height in front of us. And you're going to recognize this. And this pose is where I got this from us, the International Day of Yoga. So we're going to take our right arm and make a semicircle around to the back of us and bring our left hand to our right shoulder. So we're twisting our torso to the right side. You can keep your eyes focused on your right fingertips, using that as a dristi. And then we'll swing that right hand back again, 180 degrees, back to the front. Bring the 2 hands together out in front of us. Just kind of stretch your hands out toward the opposite side of the room. You kind of feel that stretch in your shoulders. And then we're going to make that 180 degree semicircle with our left hand, bring it around back, bring our right hand to our left shoulder, and then come back to center. And we'll do that a couple more times. So we're sweep our right hand around back, left hand comes to the right shoulder, and sweep it back, nice gentle flow. And then sweep the left hand all the way around to the back. And then bring it back to the front. And one last time, sweep the right hand around to the back. And then come back to center. And bring the left hand around back. And bring them both back to center. And you bring your hands down. Just relax your shoulders for a moment. And then we're going to lift the arms back up again, shoulder height. And this time we're going to drop our hips down toward the mat, come into chair pose. So our arms are going to stay parallel with the floor, and we're going to come down and hopefully get to a point where our thighs are parallel with the floor. And then come back up again. And we'll do 2 more of those. So bring your hips down toward the mat. See if you can lower yourself just a little bit more. Tucking your navel into the spine, supporting your lower back. And then lifting back up again. And one last time, tuck your navel toward your spine, lower your hips down. And see if you could just inch it down just a little bit further. Get your thighs parallel to the mat. And then back up again. We're going to rise up, bring our arms up ahead above us. As we rise our arms up, or raise our arms up, we're going to come up onto our tippy toes for palm tree. And then we're going to bring our hands back down, bring our heels back down. And we'll do that 2 more times. So inhale, sweep our hands up overhead, rising up onto our tippy toes. And then exhale, coming back down, bringing our heels back down to the mat. And one last time, sweep the hands up, really stretch your arms up and out, coming up onto our tippy toes, reaching for the sky, and then come back down, bringing our heels back down to the mat. Then we would go into tree pose. So you can start with your hands in Anjali Mudra, prayer pose. And if you'd like, you can bring your right foot to the side of your left calf. Or you can bring it all the way up to your thigh. Your choice. And once you feel stable, maybe locking into that drishti in front of you, that's point that's stable. You're going to bring your arms up and open them up into a V shape. Feel that gentle, peaceful stillness. And then bring your hands and legs back down. We'll do that on the other side. And you could start with your hands in prayer pose. Sole of your foot comes to the inner part of your right calf or up to your right thigh. And once you feel stable, locking into your drishti, send your arms up into the sky. Really connect with that still feeling. And then bring your hands and your leg back down. We're going to sweep our arms up overhead, big inhale. And then big exhale, going into forward fold. We're going to bend our knees as we go down, bringing our hands down to the mat. And then inhale, bring our hands up to our shins, straightening out our spine, flattening out our back. Create that nice long line between your tailbone and the back nape of your neck. And then drop the crown of your head down toward the mat. And then sweep your hands all the way up, big inhale up overhead. And we'll do that 2 more times. So sweep your hands down toward the mat, bending your knees as you go. Then inhale, bring your hands to your shins, straightening out your back. Gaze is down to the floor. And then send the crown of your head down toward the floor. And sweep your hands all the way up again. And one last time, sweep them down, bending your knees as you go. Inhale, half forward fold, flat back. And then exhale, crown of the head goes down toward the floor. And inhale, sweeping your hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And palms come to the back of your hips so that your fingertips are pointing down toward the floor. We're going to do a nice, gentle, supported back bend. So you relax your shoulders, and roll them back, tuck your chin toward your chest, and then just let your shoulders drop back. Focus on your breathing. Just bend as far back as you can to keep your breath nice and even. And then come back up straight. And then we're going to come into a wide-legged stance with our toes pointing to the corner edges of the mat. Heels are tucked in at 45 degrees. We'll sweep our arms up so that they're at shoulder height. And then we're going to pivot both feet and pivot both feet to the left. So your left foot's pointing to the top of the mat. Your right foot is at a 45-degree angle. We're going to go into triangle pose rather. So you're going to send your left arm forward as if you're about to grab something off a shelf, and then send your left hand down, and it can land on your leg, sending the right arm up. And if you're able to, you can slide your left hand down to your foot, or perhaps to the floor, or if you have a block right there, that would be good too. And then bring yourself back up again. Come back to wide-legged stance. And then pivot your feet to the right. So the right foot's facing the short edge of the mat. Left foot is at a 45-degree angle. We're going to take that right arm and stretch it out front, like we're going to grab something. And then we're going to send it down toward our leg, sending our left arm up to the sky. And then perhaps sliding that right hand down toward the floor. And then come back up again. And bring your feet back to mountain pose. Now we're going to come down into a seated position. So you can come down any way that is comfortable for you. And I'm going to, for the seated poses, I'm going to have, actually for some of the other ones too, I'm going to have a folded towel here. And what I like to do is I like to sit up kind of on the very edge of that. So I'm kind of rolling toward the mat, but I'm not fully on the mat. And coming into staff pose, so our feet are flexed, toes pointing up to the sky. It's an active sitting position. Spine is nice and straight and tall. So we're going to come into staff pose. And then we're going to bring our feet together. Actually, I probably should go this way to show you a little bit better. We're going to bring our soles of our feet together, come into cobbler's pose. So cobbler's pose, soles of your feet together, your legs are off to the side, and you can bring your heels as close to your center as you can, interlacing your fingers and wrapping them around your toes. And then we're just going to pivot from the waist, bending our elbows and lean forward. And come back gently. Interlace your fingers around your toes, or if it's even more comfortable for you, you can wrap them around your ankles. But point your elbows toward your knees and pivot forward and just lean into the pose very gently. No forcing of anything. And then come back to an upright position. And then one more time, wrap our fingers around our toes, sending the elbows out toward the knees, pivoting forward, just leaning in just ever so slightly more. Gradually being able to move a little deeper into the pose and then come back up again. We're going to take our right leg and extend it out in front of us. And we're going to bring the sole of our left foot down to the mat. And this is a sage twist. But what they did in India, in New Delhi that day, is they took, you have your left foot on the mat. They took the right hand and they placed it on the outside of your left foot. And then they twisted the body to the left, bringing your left fingers behind your hips and twisting your body to the left. Now we usually do it when we wrap our right arm around our knee, but you can do either one, whatever is more comfortable for you. And then twist back to center, bring your feet back into cobbler's pose, and then extend your left leg out fully, bringing the sole of your right foot down to the mat. Again, we're going to bring the left hand on the outside of your right foot, twisting your body to the right, bringing your right fingertips behind your hips. And remember, with that staff pose, we had our feet flexed, and the same with this. And then come back to center. Now we're going to come into hero's pose. So this is coming onto your hands and knees, and you could use your towel to support your knees if you'd like. Make it a little bit more soft cushion. And with hero's pose, the full expression of this pose is to bring your feet apart and bring your sit bones down to the mat. That's a little ouchy for my knees, so I use a modified hero's pose where I actually sit on my heels. And you can do that sitting on your heels with the tops of your feet on the mat, or you can curl your toes under and sit on your heels. Whichever works for you. Then we're going to take our right arm and lift it up to the sky. And then with our right fingertips, we're going to bend our arm back and reach for the shoulder blade of our left shoulder. So the left shoulder blade will probably be close to your backbone. So right now your elbow's pointing straight ahead, and then we're going to open up the elbow. So swing it to the right, opening up your chest. And your fingertips will move probably off your shoulder blade. Just open up that way. And then release your arm. We'll do that on the other side. So lift your left arm up to the sky. Bring your fingertips to your right shoulder blade. Your elbow should be pointing to the front. And then swing that elbow to the left, opening up your chest. And then release and bring that back down. And the next pose is camel pose. And modification for that would be to take your fingertips, find the ends of your toes, and set your fingertips down at the very tips of your toes, and then bring your palms all the way down to the mat. So you're leaning back, and then you can lift your head up lifting toward the sky. Don't drop it all the way back, but with your eyes going up toward the sky, you can arch your back ever so slightly. You feel that right in your thighs. So that's one variation of camel's pose. Or working on the more traditional, you can tuck your toes under, lift your arm up to the sky, your right arm up to the sky, and then reach back to find the heel of your foot. Oops, actually That's right. It's like something's wrong there. You need to lift your hips up. So then send your arm up. It's like, wow, my heel's really close for once. It's not. So you reach back, touch your heel, and then reach back with your left arm. Find your heel back there somewhere. And then arch your back. Either one. And then the next pose we do is a wide-legged child's pose. And you can leave your towel right there. Just open up your knees to the edges of the mat, bringing your big toes together. And bring your chest and forehead down to the mat. The idea is to try to connect your chest and your head, really feeling that stretch in your spine. And then walk your hands back up. And we're going to come into a prone position. So we're going to lie on our stomach. Send your legs out, come down to your tummy. And I'm going to keep my towel just for support. And stretch your fingertips out as far as they can go, and stretch your toes out as far as they can go. Really feel that stretch in your body. And then bring your fingertips right below your shoulders and coming into cobra. So tucking your elbows toward your ribs. Gently raise your chin and your chest, lifting up into cobra. And then release back down. Bring the side of your head down to the mat. Be either the left side or the right side. And extend your arms alongside with the palms facing up to the sky. And this is kind of a reverse Shavasana. You're relaxing here. And then we're going to bring our chin to the mat, in my case to the towel. And we're going to lift, keeping our hip bones connected to the mat, or at least parallel with the mat. We're going to lift the right leg up and then bring it back down. Lift the left leg up and bring it back down. And then lift both legs and both arms up, like you're Superman flying along. And then bring those back down. And you can bring your head down, having landing your head on the other side, the other cheek resting on the mat. And then we'll bring the chin back to center, and we'll do the half locust and full locust again. So with your arms alongside, palms facing up, hip bones, pelvic bone, parallel to the mat. We'll lift our right leg up and then lower it back to the mat. And lift the left leg up and lower it back to the mat. And then lift both legs and both arms up. And bring them both back down to the mat. And then the next series we're going to do on our back. So roll over. I'm going to keep my towel under my head. And now we're on our back. We'll come into mountain pose. So on our back, mountain pose is an active pose. Our feet are flexed, toes pointing up to the sky. Get our navel, same principles as when we're standing. Navel's tucked to the spine, bringing your lower back down toward the mat. Shoulders are relaxed, roll back so that you can feel your shoulder blades nice and snug into your mat. Chin is tucked slightly toward your chest, creating a nice long spine and back of your neck. And then we're going to go into bridge pose. So we bring our feet down to the mat so that they're the soles are on the mat, knees are pointing up to the sky, and the heels are close to your hip bones. So if you can actually bring your arms down alongside you, palms facing down, and if your tips of your fingers can touch the back of your heel, that's good, or as close as possible. Your knees are hip width apart, and your knees are going to stay parallel to one another. So envision like maybe a block, or you can even put a block in between. And your eyes will stay directed up toward the sky. And we'll do, this is my modification, we're going to do a few reclined cat-cows just to kind of work our back into bridge pose. So we're going to tuck our tummy, our navel to our spine, creating that bowl in our tummy, and just feeling the tightness in the tops of your thighs. And then relax, making a little bit of an arch in your lower back. And that's for cow. And then round our back again, making that bowl for cat. And then relax, arching our back for cow. And then rounding our back, making that bowl, tucking our navel to the spine. At this point, we're going to push down in our feet and lift our hips off the mat, sending our hips toward the sky. Our gaze is up toward the sky. Arms are alongside to support us. And then slowly lower back down to the mat, feeling each vertebrae as it connects with the mat. So nice and slow, just really feel that connection. It's a nice massage for the spine. So we'll do that again 2 more times. So we're going to do a few cat-cows. So round your back for cat. And then relax, slightly arching your back for cow. Round your back for cat. Relax and arch your back for cow. And then round your back for cat. Push down into your feet and lift your hips up toward the sky. And maybe this time you can get a little bit higher up. Maybe start to tuck your shoulders underneath. Rounding your shoulders underneath. So you can get a little bit more height. And then slowly again, release your spine back down to the mat, feeling each vertebrae connect. And then one last time. So we're going to cat, rounding creating that bowl in our tummy, And then cow, creating that little bit of arch on our lower back. Cat, rounding our back. Cow, arching our back. Cat, rounding our back. And then here we're going to push down into our feet, lifting our hips up to the sky. Maybe interlace your fingers below your back, and then really roll over onto your shoulders, if that's comfortable for you. And then release your hands and slowly roll your spine back down. And connect with the mat. And extend your feet back out. We're going to go back to mountain pose. So flexing our toes up to the sky. Legs are nice and straight and strong with a gentle bend in the knee. Navel's tucked to your spine, bringing your lower back down toward the mat. Shoulders are relaxed but rolled back, feeling that shoulder blades connecting with the mat. So feel how this pose is active. You're not relaxed here like Shavasana. We're getting to that, but not quite yet. You'll feel the difference. All right, and then next we're going to bring our knees to our chest. Give them a nice gentle hug. If you want, take this moment to rock back and forth just to massage our lower back. And then with your hands interlaced, tucking your knees toward your chest, you're going to lift your chin toward your knees, but I suggest lifting not with your head, but with your chest. So lifting your chest, bringing your chin toward your knees, and then back again. So lift with your chest, chin toward the knees. Feel that in your core, tightening up your core, and then relax your head back down. Again, we'll do this a few more times, so go at your own pace. Chin to knees, lifting with the chest. We'll go 3, 2, and 1. And relax. And then send your feet back down to the bottom of the mat. And send both heels out to the edges of the mat. And going into Shavasana. So this is total relaxation. You'll feel the difference between this and mountain pose. Just let your feet flop and hang open. Your legs are not at all tight or conscious of any activity. You open up your arms just at an angle away from your torso with your palms facing up, and relax. Just let your shoulders roll into the mat. And we'll take a few moments to do Shavasana. And Shavasana is a very important part. So that duality of activity and then relaxation, we kind of did a few of those throughout this segment today, with the child's pose, and then with when we were on our stomachs and doing a Shavasana, prone Shavasana, and now we're doing a reclined Shavasana. So activity and then rest. Activity, then rest. we're going to conclude our asana practice now. So you can roll over to your favorite side and you press your hand down, come back up into a seated position. And we'll do pranayamas. As I mentioned, there are 3 pranayamas. They actually, on that day, did 4. I'm going to save one of them to next week. The 3 they did embraces a lot of different techniques, breathing techniques. The first one is Kapalabhati, and we've done this before, and it's an energizing breathing technique, and where we inhale actively and exhale passively. The Kapalabhati flips that. So it's inhaling and then forcibly exhaling. So it's you're doing it with your tummy. So it's so again, it's an energizing, it's actually a warming breathing technique. The next one is Nadi Shandana, and it's known as alternate nostril breathing. And this one is a very calming, very soothing, relaxing breath, and it activates both channels in the side of your spine. So if you're familiar with the chakras, they go from the base on up to the crown of your head and up actually above. There's a chakra that kind of hovers over, and then there's that energy flow that goes up and down your spine. And on both sides, there's these channels, and those are called the nadis, N-A-D-I, not nati, but nadis. And then with that, it's often you use a mudra called Vishnu, which you have your hand open and you bring your index and your middle finger down, keeping your thumb, your ring finger, and your pinky extended. That's the Vishnu mudra. So, and you can use your thumb and your index finger if that's uncomfortable. But this mudra actually helps for balance, and this Nadi Shandana is a good balancing breathing technique, calming and just balancing both sides of your channels. So you bring your thumb to your right nostril and inhale through your left. And at the top of the inhale, you're going to take your ring finger and bring it to your left nostril, releasing your thumb from your right nostril, and then exhale through the right. And then inhale through the right. And at the top of the inhale, you're going to take your thumb, close off the right, and release the left nostril, and exhale there through the left, and then inhale through the left. At the top of the inhale, you're going to flip your fingers so the ring finger comes down, closes off the left. The right nostril is released. You exhale through the right, inhale through the right. Top of the inhale, close off that nostril. Exhale through the left, inhale through the left. Top of the inhale, close it off. So as you notice, at the top of the inhale is when we flip our fingers and close off that nostril. So just continue on at your own. Every time you hit the top of your inhale, just remember to close that nostril off. And you can release from that. It takes you a while to get into the rhythm of that. And typically it's done for like 3 to 5 minutes. And it has many, many, many wonderful uses. Panic attacks or just anxiety. It really balances you off, calming you down. And the last one we are going to do is the Barre. And I never even, well, not that I knew a lot at that point anyway, but I hadn't seen this breathing technique until I watched the video from that first International Day of Yoga. And it's Brahmari is also an Indian term. It's either the name of the bee or it's a Indian term for bee, but it's the humming bee breath. So very simply, the Brahmari part is you put your fingers on the little lobes of your ears and you gently push your lobes in. So you're closing your ears, so you're closing off the sound. And then you inhale, and on your exhale, you're humming. So basically, it's kind of closing off what's going around you. You're just kind of in your own little world of humming. So inhaling through your nose and then exhaling, you're humming as you go. So let's do that for a few moments and I'll wave when we're done. And we can stop now. And that breath, as you notice, it's like it just kind of focuses you on your breath, and there's not much else to focus on. So it stills the mind, it kind of creates a focus and a concentration. There's also mudra that is done with it, and it's called the Shanmukhi. My Mookie Betts, I always think of him, Shanmukhi, and it works on your senses. So you put your thumbs to the earlobes, you bring your index fingers and cover your eyes, so your the 5 senses, the sight, and then your smell. You don't want to close off your nose, but you're resting your middle fingers alongside your nose. The ring fingers come right below your nose, and the pinkies come right under your lips. So you're kind of closing your mouth. It's hard for me to do and talk at the same time. But you do that same Brahmari breath with the humming on the exhale, but with your fingers in place. And this is really to help you shut out the world and just be one with yourself. So you can try that for a few moments. Get my fingers all lined up here. It takes a while to kind of get into the comfort of it. So I'm going to stop now and come back up. You all might still be going. So the last thing we're going to do is the guided meditation. So each year, when the International Day of Yoga occurs, they set a theme. Last year, the theme was humanity. This year, the theme is, it's a Sanskrit term, which is very important term for, well, I'm going to say for religious purposes. I think it crosses all religions, Hindu as well as Christianity, everywhere. So the theme is yoga for, and I hope I pronounced this right, Vasudhaiva, Kutumbakam. I was practicing it much better earlier. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And that is Sanskrit, which means the world is one family. And that is the theme for this year. The world is one family. But the Sanskrit term is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So for our guided meditation, I've adapted a meditation for unity by a gentleman by the name of Sanji Verma. So if you would kindly sit in a nice, comfortable seated position and take 3 deep breaths. Inhale deeply and exhale long. Another inhale deep and exhale long. Your last inhale very deep and exhale long. Focus your heart on your center. Find your heart's chakra and focus on that. And the energy of your heart chakra is along those energy lines, those nadis. And that energy of your heart, connect that energy with compassion, gratitude, and love. Focusing on your heart, connect with the energy of compassion, gratitude, and love. And repeat to yourself, this will be your mantra for the meditation. The world is one family. Spread that energy of compassion, gratitude, and love throughout your body. And repeat, the world is one family. Spread the energy of compassion, gratitude, and love throughout your room, connecting with any living thing in that room. And repeat, the world is one family. Spread the energy of compassion, gratitude, and love throughout your neighborhood. And repeat, the world is one family. Spread the energy of compassion, gratitude, and love throughout your town or city. And repeat, the world is one family. Spread the energy of compassion, gratitude, and love throughout your state. And repeat to yourself, the world is one family. Spread the energy of compassion, gratitude, and love throughout the nation, and repeat to yourself, the world is one family. Spread the energy of compassion, of gratitude, and of love throughout the world, and repeat to yourself, the world is one family. Spread this energy to unite and heal.